G'day, YouTube! Once again, I touched on this amp briefly when I first got it. Just did a few minutes just on the camera phone. Nothing mic'd up or anything. But I've had this amp for a few months now, and you know, I've experienced it a lot more since that video. So this is a full walkthrough slash review of the EVH 5150 Iconic. We're on. Now, I don't know what drugs Eddie Van Halen was on when he designed this, but apparently it was on purpose. The standby switch is in reverse. On typical amplifiers, standby on means it's on standby. You can't make any noise go through it. And you take it off standby for the sound to come through. This is backwards. So it's currently switched to standby off. And there's no sound coming through. Standby on. And then the sound comes through. Alright. So, with the green channel, you've got the choice of clean or crunch. And you can go from clean to high gain or crunch to high gain. What does that make it? 2.5 channels? Alright. So, volume 1, just putting the lows up to 3, which is like 10 o'clock on this. Let's just use the analog clock format. Lows on 9 o'clock, mid on 9 o'clock, highs on 9 o'clock, resonance on 9, presence on 9. Got anything yet? It's not even getting picked up on the mics. Hardly. Volume up. Sorry, gain up, volume up. So EQ's all set at 9 o'clock. Not the best humbuckers for cleans, but anyways. Put the low on noon. Mid on noon. Getting brighter. I'll just put the highs up just a little bit, like 10 o'clock. Highs on noon. That's probably what I would set it to if I was going to play some clean stuff. Something like that. Let's quickly get through this clean demo. Alright, I'll put the lows on, let's say, 3 o'clock. Put the mids on 3 o'clock. Put the highs on 3 o'clock. Yeah, it's pretty bright now. clean channel is brilliant, in my opinion. Nothing wrong with it. Alright, let's get to the crunch channel. That's what you're all waiting for, I'm sure. The amp comes with a EVH foot switch. Just got channel select on there and a boost. You have to set whether you want the crunch green channel or the clean green channel from this, I believe. And then you can switch between red and green on the foot switch. Hang on, we didn't even play with the presence and resonance knob yet. Or the reverb. So EQ's on noon. Let's chuck a bit of reverb on. The reverb's okay, but not as good as most reverb pedals that you'd come across. I don't know if I like it or not. Reverb off. Put the resonance on noon. Presence on noon. Get to the crunch, for God's sakes. EQ's back on 9 o'clock. As you may or may not know, this amp has an ungodly amount of gain. Way too much that is unusable. So you don't really have to turn the gain, up very much. Too much gain and it gets fuzzy and doesn't sound very pleasant. Kind of crunchy and it's only on, 2 notches. But it sounds very boxy, like a crappy little combo amp. So let's add some mids. Go about 11 o'clock. Massive difference there. Really sensitive. What about the lows? Really sensitive lows. Highs? Yeah, very sensitive highs as well. Put the mids on noon, lows on noon. Let's add a bit more gain. That's pretty good. Something like that. Resonance and presence on noon. We could be here all day, dialing in dozens of different tones. You get a fair idea anyway. You can use that as a high gain channel if you want. Apply it tighter, add an overdrive. The noise gate only works on the red channel, by the way, by design, just to take the edge off the noise from the red channel. Not as good as a full-fledged noise gate. What the deuce? Can't remember now. Alright, let's hit the red channel. Otherwise, going to be here all day. Overdrive off. Overdrive on. Make it bassier, more mids. As usual, let's have a quick look at the front and back panel. So there you go, you got your, if you don't have the foot switch, you can change channels with a button there. To pick between green channel crunch or green channel clean, you got the overdrive button there. Gain 1 and gain 2 for channel, you know, the green channel and the red channel. You've got your noise gate, which takes the edge off on the red channel only. You've got your lows, mids, highs. volume for channel 1 green, volume for channel 2 red. Your boost, use it for solos. I wouldn't replace a overdrive and use the boost that's built into it. It makes it flubby. But it's good for a volume boost for solos. Reverb, it's alright. Resonance and presence. And you've got full power, quarter power, standby on and off, which is upside down, power on and off. Back panel, nothing much to show. Power amp mute, speaker emulated XLR out. I haven't tried it yet. Ground and lift, if you've got hum, buzz. Pre-out, effects loop, send and return. Foot switch, which I've got down here, which came with the amp. Oh, you've got load impedance. You can change the impedance from... Whoops, let me focus on that. You can change the load impedance from 8 ohms to 4 ohms to 16 ohms. And, yeah, just your speaker, your parallel speaker outputs there. 4 6L6 power tubes. And only 2 preamp tubes. ECC 83s. All good. I could be here all bloody day just fine-tuning it, finding different tones, dozens and dozens of different tones. But you get a fair idea. This thing is as high gain as you can get for an amp. I friggin' love it. Too much high gain, it gets a bit fizzy, but there's sweet spots as long as you don't crank it way too much. It tightens up really nice with an overdrive like a TS9 tube screamer or a super overdrive Boss pedal. Makes it even better. I appreciate the fact that it's got a resonance and a presence control because most of my other amps don't. And some of them are a bit too dark in certain cabinets, so I like to brighten it up with, without having to crank the treble full ball. I've only been playing with it on a quarter power. What else can I say? You heard the cleans, they're fantastic. You heard the crunch tone, fantastic. High gain tone, even more fantastic. The EQ controls are so sensitive, you can sit here for hours just picking your best tones and you'll find lots of them. Well, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please thumbs up and subscribe. You can't get a better high gain amp for that price range. I think I paid about $1,100 or $1,200 Australian. You can't freaking go wrong. Alright, enjoy your weekend. Good odds.